Artificial intelligence has made remarkable advancements in recent years and is now significantly changing our world. Chatbots, search bots, and mathematical AI programs, etc. have become integral parts of our daily lives. Artificial intelligence, in essence, refers to the ability of a machine to think and learn like a human. However, machines can only learn from the data that they are given and can sometimes make incorrect assumptions based on that data. They also lack emotional intelligence and empathy that humans possess. Natural stupidity, on the other hand, refers to our tendency to overestimate the capabilities of machines, to assume that they are infallible, and our inability to comprehend well their limitations. Let us delve deeper into this discussion upon this topic by Mr. Subodh Kerkar.
Mr. Subodh is an Indian painter, sculptor and installation artist and founder of the private art gallery Museum of Goa. In 2018, Kerkar's photo exhibition of fishermen was chosen for the Royal Academy Summer Exhibition, and later it inspired filmmaker Bharat Bala to make a documentary on it. We please invite Mr. Subodh on stage. Please, sir.
I feel completely at home in this room because I'm a teacher's son and I feel that I belong to your caste. I have a tremendous respect for teachers because I believe the teacher's job is the most important job in the world. A child's brain, a child's mind is the most intricate machine, and to handle that machine, you require more skills than any other machine. And I must tell you that India had only 12% literacy rate when India became independent in 47. Today it is 78. So you teachers have laid the foundation of the progress of this nation. Congratulations. I started wondering why I'm invited here. I was a medical doctor, gave up my medicine about 32 years ago, and today I'm a full-time artist. I basically believe that the only purpose of life is to be happy, and if you do something which you love to do, there is a possibility that you'll be happy. If you do something which you don't like to do, you'll be definitely unhappy. I was a topper in 12th standard. I could get admission anywhere. I went to medical school because those days the teachers were rather badly paid and there was always a financial trouble. And my father wanted me to have something stable. I did like medicine. I went there. Initially, my patients were the fishermen. I started a hospital on the seaside in Goa. Slowly, there was a big boom in tourism, and about 70% of my patients were British tourists. And the only disease they suffered from was dysentery. So the idea of devoting my lifetime to British dysentery was not palatable. And I thought that India has taken enough shit from the British for 150 years, and I didn't want to take any more. So I gave up my medical profession, and I became an artist. Basically, that's my passion. And I think I'm one of the happiest persons. And that is the reason I qualify to talk to you, because I believe that to be happy is the only purpose of life, the only purpose of education, to be happy. You know, I just don't look happy. I'm also internally happy, because there are many times you look happy. For example, Robin Williams. He looked so happy, but he committed suicide, the poor fellow. So, now about happiness, I will talk a little bit later. I would like to basically explore the reason, the purpose of education. You know, the purpose of education is far from making some student ready for a job. The purpose of education is to make them ready for a purposeful life. Purpose of education is to establish a perfect balance between the inner life and the outer life, a harmony between the inner world and the outer world. You know, life is a very complex thing. Life has beautiful things like the birds, the butterflies, the ocean, the wind, the sea. It also has a lot of conflicts, the conflicts between nations, the conflict between yourself, conflict between groups, religions. Life also has hidden things. There are anxieties, ambitions, there is hatred, there is ego. So all this many facets of life you have to be able to deal with. And the purpose of education is to equip you to deal with all these things and lead a happy life. It is not just to find jobs. Everybody has spoken about artificial intelligence, but my focus will be on natural stupidity. That's what I'm going to speak about, because I feel that it is very important to recognize what is going wrong with our society. Now, as far as education is concerned, I will just show you the first slide. This is very often what we do. This is one of my work. You keep a child on a vice and try to shape it. I think the purpose of education is to equip the child to ask questions, to explore the world on a first-hand basis, not take dictations. Somebody says, be proud of your nation. You should ask, why? Be proud of your religion. Why? So to be able to have that fearlessness, to question everything is the purpose of education. Not to condition, but to uncondition. Let me talk about the stupidities now. This is the universe. The universe is infinite. In this universe, there are billions of galaxies. Billions. In those billions of galaxies, we have our Milky Way, is one of the galaxies. In the Milky Way, we have billions of stars and solar systems. In that, we are a solar system. The solar system goes around the center of Milky Way, it moves by the speed of 10,800 kilometers per hour. The solar system around the center of the universe takes 278 million years to complete one revolution. So in all this vastness, Earth is a small speck. And on this speck, we are tiny specks. And then we have the ego to basically talk ourselves as the most important creatures in the universe, so much so that we even have Miss Universe. Miss Universe, how can we be thinking of, in such vastness, call ourselves the most beautiful girl in the whole universe? So we have this kind of ego. The purpose of education is to demolish this ego. Our stupidity is feeling that we are the most important species in this whole universe. And then, with this kind of a thing, what do? If we understand that we are a small species, a tiny specks, in this vast universe, then we have to bow down to that feeling that, okay, we are very small, we should not have any ego. And that is, understanding that is to spill spiritual. Now, what we are doing is we are fighting in the name of religion. There are so many fights happening all over the world. Is this a rabbit or is this a duck? Now, this is what is happening. There can be no peace until they renounce the rabbit god and accept our duck god. So this is the kind of religious fights we have. We hate. The hatred is the worst thing. If you hate, you can never be happy. We rage wars. How can we call ourselves civilized if Russia invades Ukraine? Wars and civilizations don't mix. I'm a student of Gandhi, and I basically believe as non-violence is the most important thing, and non-violence doesn't mean not hitting somebody. Non-violence of spirit, non-violence of mind, that I shall not just hate, but I shall not even think badly about anybody. Because our existence on this planet is so brief, and in this brief span of hardly 70 years, which is nothing in terms of the whole universe, we hate, we fight, we get our sentiments, so-called religious sentiments are hurt, and so many of these things happen. And then there are politicians who are trying to convince us that we are a pure race, our religion is the most important religion, and we believe in it. Now, how can you think of a pure culture, pure religion in this multifaceted world? I think that is one of the biggest mistakes, biggest stupidity we do. Because let me tell you, if we consider our food, which is very delicious in this hotel, the chilies which are in this food come from Brazil. The potatoes, tomatoes come from Brazil. Peanuts, ananas, everything comes from Brazil. Even the tadka of hing, asafoida, which we give, even the vegetarians give, is from Iran. Even today it is not manufactured here, it's not grown here, hing. And then we call ourselves a pure culture. The pulao came with Babar in 1524 from Central Asia. The pulao married Indian spices and biryani was born. So Indian food, what we eat today, is sort of a mixture of so many influences. And where is the purity of culture? The religions are influenced by each other. Where is the purity of culture, purity of religions? And there are people who convince us that our religion is pure, our culture is pure. Let me tell you, thinking of pure culture is like having a non-peeing area in a swimming pool. It does not exist. So please give up this stupidity of thinking that your culture is pure. Let me now elaborate a little on, this Daniel Kahneman. He's a Nobel laureate, and I heard a speech by him, and he says that you shall be happy if AI will come, and then you shall be happy. The world will be happier. And his idea of predicting that was that the mergers of companies will be flawless. And when the mergers of companies, big corporates are flawless, you'll be happier. I think I beg to differ, even though he's a Nobel laureate. I feel we make the biggest stupidity we have is to mixing up happiness and pleasure. We tend to sort of postpone happiness. I shall be happy when I get a promotion. I shall be happy when I get a bigger salary. I shall be happy when I get a bigger bungalow. I think happiness has nothing to do with this, because we basically mix up happiness with pleasure. Here, the box of happiness arrives. In a consumer society, this is pleasure, this is not happiness. We don't have much time, so I have to basically go a little bit fast. Buy a big house, you'll be happy. Here, there's an ad. They eat lard, so they're happy. This is American ad. Here, happiness meets joy. Buy a car, bigger car, you'll be happy. Even the mixers can make you happy. Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet. Here she is. She smokes Lucky, so she's happy. So the world, the consumer society, you will be happier with the divorce. So we are continuously fooled. Let me tell you the difference between happiness and pleasure. Happiness, pleasure is addictive. Happiness is not addictive. Nobody gets addicted to happiness. Pleasure is short-lived. Happiness is long-lived. Pleasure is visceral. It's about the body. But then happiness is ethereal. Pleasure isn't taking. Happiness is in giving. Pleasure you can enjoy alone. Happiness you enjoy with your family, with your friends. More pleasure is bound to make you less happier. Because pleasure is a function of dopamine, and happiness is a function of serotonin. Now, I think since I just have 1 minute, let me just, happiness is what you have divided by what you want. But then I will, make a little, I will skip this because there's no time. Intuition. I think in artificial intelligence, has no intuition. All of us, we have instincts and we have intellect. Instincts and intellect is important, but what causes revolutions in human society is intuition. When I create a great work of art, it is the intuition which makes me do that. When Einstein created this idea of force, the energy and mass, it was the intuition. That's what he believes in. That's what he says. Intuition is sort of a focus of your instinct and your intellect. Instinct and intellect doesn't make revolutions, but when it passes through a convex lens, like the sunlight passes and concentrates on one point, fire burns. So intuition is the most important thing for creating revolutions, great ideas, and artificial intelligence does not have that. And I have a conviction that today's conference, I have an intuition that this will lead to great revolutions in education industry. Thank you. Thank you very much.